How's everyone doing today? I'm going to be talking about villains from Ninja Turtles. Ninja Turtles has a lot of pretty great, cool villains. I think that's one of the things that makes this show so great. The writers really spent a lot of time. And, each villain, it's pretty sick because each villain is, like, unique in their own way as well. Like, each of them have their own powers. Each of them have their own, personality and, backstories and shit. I think it's pretty cool. But there is three villains that I think top all of them, just, like, take a big fat shit on them as, like, crazy evil villains that didn't really hold back at all. So the first one is sorry, there's like some I had like a packet of gummy bears, and one of them ended up being like deformed as if they were made in a volcano or whatever. They're just like melted and fused together like Siamese twins. Pretty sure someone got my laptop. Yeah, get that shit out there. But anyways, first one is a neutralizer. Neutralizer, when he first comes in, he kind of shows he doesn't really give a fuck. So he jumps the Krang when he breaks out of his holding cell, and he doesn't how like when Ninja, how when like Leo and the boys they fuck up the Krang, they just leave him there, let the little brains, the hubba bubba piles with legs just crawl away and go wherever they were going. He doesn't really let them do that. He's feeling a little bit famished, so when he fucks up the Krang, he'd sometimes even grab them and just eat them. He was gonna do that to like another species of Krang. They're called the Utmar or whatever the shit. They're basically like Krang but like good version. He was gonna eat Bishop until like Leo just saved him and like chucked the ninja star at him. So yeah, bro, he's pretty bro gets pretty hungry and he has no problem eating his enemies alive, which is pretty cracked. And he's also a crazy good fighter as well. He was able to take on the turtles like all at once. He's able, all of them were going at him, and he was able to fight them like effortlessly. It kind of seemed like they wouldn't need like outside help to against this guy. That's how powerful and crazy he was. Like one thing, Raphael tried to run at the dude as if the guy robbed one of his like combat forks, and the neutralizer literally grabs Raphael and just kind of flips him back. He just kind of chucks him at him. Chucks him away, which is bro's able to do flips. He's able to like dodge attacks and all. His tech is pretty crazy as well. Like at first, I feel like he kind of had standard tech compared to other fictional creatures like the Predator and shit. Like he's able. Why? Oh my god, this charger is so fucking ass. God damn, I might as well just like you charge it with a potato, mate. I might as well just have a potato on the other line and just plug it in like that. It's so terrible. But anyways, he had like kind of tech as well. Like he had these wrist cannons that are basically just like at the start he'd just be able to spam lasers. He'd just be shooting blanks at them the whole time. But when you get close to him, he's also pretty massive. He's able to hit you away. He also had like this disc that he's able to use as a melee weapon. But when he throws it, it's kind of like the batarang, and it explodes. He's able to make it go boom, kind of like a C4 that you put some underneath someone's car. And but when he ended up raiding a Krang facility, and he got like this little metal thing that he ends up putting into his arm, which gives him the ability to teleport. So then, yeah, he was really on demon time when he was able to teleport. He was pretty hard to. He'd be teleporting all over the place. There'd be like a part where he was being the shit of one of the turtles. He's just teleporting, just constantly hitting them back and forth. But his like tech and shit. Like one of the weaknesses I will say on the show is that he heavily relies on his tech a lot. Like without his tech, I feel like the turtles would be able to fuck him up. It'd be like fucking up a toddler. But with his tech, he's like next to unstoppable, and he pretty much was next to unstoppable when he got even like more shit. Like the shit he ended up getting. He somehow ended up getting electrical powers. I'm pretty sure it's from the new tech he raided from the Krang base. He ended up giving him electric powers. This man was next to unstoppable with electric powers. He's able to like sip from wires and shit like they're just glasses of milk and all. He like they were protein shakes pretty much. He's like sipping on them and he's like getting electricity inside of him. And he ended up getting the powers of like King Ghidorah. So you know how like King Ghidorah is able to absorb any electrical outlet or anything. He's able to get more powerful and send out more electricity bass. This is what this guy was able to do. He's able to get so much electrical shit. He ended up being able to strike them with like big ass electric bolts. And one of them actually hit Mikey. I was thinking like, bro, I didn't think any of the turtles would die, but one of the turtles actually did die for a bit. He zapped Mikey and then sent him to like the Netherrealm or I don't know, a lone dimension or whatever. Because Mikey was just gone. He was erased from existence. So he managed to actually kill one of the turtles. And he's able to like summoning like this big ass electric that ball that was able to make a big massive ass explosion. He had electrical powers and he's able to teleport. That's like OP as shit. That might be on some level like some Marvel characters. Like I feel like he might be one of the most maybe even more powerful than Shredder. I think the only thing that's given Shredder the edge over Neutralizer is that he's able to really fight. Shredder's whole life was basically he was a drill sergeant to himself. Like every day is just fighting nonstop. That's basically his life, just fighting. It's like MMA. It's like MMA fighter, but just like your life is MMA fighter. You're just stuck in the cage forever, like a caged animal, just constantly fighting. I feel like that's the only edge you'd give him. But yeah, in order for them to put down Neutralizer, they had to bomb a whole ship. They had to go through that much effort just to kill one guy. And they also needed help. Even when Mikey, this is like how crazy like strong he is as well. Even when Mikey came back from the dead, he just like someone just reversed his death and he just like materialized back into form. He got electric powers as well, so it kind of evened the playing field between the boys and Neutralizer. But Neutralizer still was able to, fuck him up because he's just that strong, and I guess he's better with his electrical powers. Like, Neutralizer's powers were more better than Mikey. Mikey did have electric powers, but not as good as Neutralizer, so yeah. He's a crazy space lizard. Also, one of the other space lizards is the commander of the that was also with the female lizard that Raph really likes. Neutralizer took one of his eyes out and just left him to die. He's like, he has no problem with leaving someone to die, and he has no problem with eating people alive. He also this is the next character I'm actually going to talk about. He's actually friends with this next character. He ends up being like allies with him pretty much. So later on in the show, when the Earth ends up getting destroyed by like these space Triceratop aliens. They basically just come and destroy Earth because it's riddled with Krang. Kind of like it's basically they're treating Krang like a cancer in your human body, so we're just gonna evaporate you. And they basically end up building this device that generates a black hole, and it just destroyed the Earth. So they end up going to a different planet, and they end up just screwing around, kind of like the turtles usually do. And they end up bumping into Dreg, who had like this vial of like galaxy cocaine juice or whatever the shit. I don't know. It's just like this multicolored spices. He ends up dropping that. That shit ends up flying away. Like Squidward's hopes and dreams, and then that ticked the Dreg off. To the point where he'd even just go after him. He's like, "What? You inferior pigs! You disrupted me at my cocaine sniffing session. I'm gonna go after you now." He did not stop going after him, even when like the whole space arc of the show was over. This guy would do anything. It's like he was so dedicated. Like his personality, it kind of reminded me of like Plankton. He just gets super pissy. He'd be pretty easy to rage bait. Like if you just give him a pinch, he'll just slap you and break your jaw. He even he would like hire other people to like go after the turtles. He hired like this shark dude who was able to like this space. He was able to like fly in space and all. He's pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie. He even like had the Commander Salamander and the Raph's missus, they put against him, they captured him and shit. So he's pretty rich as well, which is why he's able to hire people. And then once they like nearly killed Neutralizer at first, he ends up arriving on like this big ass like Star Wars Walker bug space thing, and ends up taking over Earth for a bit. And Neutralizer and Dreg actually had an argument about it. This kind of shows like how insane Neutralizers, and he doesn't really seem to give a shit about anyone else except for like his own gain. Like in the episode when he was working with Slash, he ends up finding this Krang base and at the docks. They had like this big ass like walkers, basically like a big ass upside down ball on two legs, and he was gonna use it to destroy the whole city. But then when he was arguing with Dreg, they're both having arguments like a married couple about like what to do with the kids, except they're arguing about what they're gonna do with the Earth. It's be like, oh no, we could like destroy this stinking shit rock. And then Dreg was like, no, I kind of want to take it over. I kind of just want to add it to my collection of marbles, that's crazy. They're having an argument about what to do with Earth, like it's their toy or whatever. Like they just bought it from the shop, So yeah, Dreg and Neutralizer are pretty insane. Dreg just kind of seems to not really let go of grudges. He literally says that, if you step on bro's toe, he will kill you and your whole generation. So them two are pretty crazy. And then the third one, I can't talk about three crazy villains from Ninja Turtles without mentioning the main and probably maybe the most evil actually. I'm not sure if he'd be more. He'd probably I don't know, maybe he might be a bit more evil than Neutralizer, but we did get to see more of him, more than Neutralizer. Shredder, at the start, Shredder just overfarms immediately, the Turtles, they were getting cocky, they were thinking, beating the shit out of Krang, we might as well just be going out and beating the shit out of people on the street, it's too easy, they actually got bored, and then Shredder shows up and just kind of mops the floor with him, there's stains all over the ground, he just wipes the floor with them easily. The Turtles were barely able to survive. They just got back and they looked like as if they got jumped by 50 people. They were pretty broken up when Shredder first fucked them up. But then as the series go on, Shredder, he has this whole vendetta against Splinter, because Splinter and Shredder basically had an argument with his woman, but then the woman ended up going for Splinter because, I don't know, he's more fair or whatever. So then that really pissed Shredder off. And Shredder would go over to Splinter's house. He ended up burning the whole place on fire. And he ended up kidnapping their daughter and raising it as his own. That is insane. That is some insane shit. Man is acting like he was infertile or he's missing his nutsack or whatever, and he couldn't have any kids, and adoption centers or foster homes didn't exist, so he had no other choice but to kidnap a child from a family and brainwash the child pretty much. I think that's one of the worst things that can happen to a person, when their identity and personality gets completely warped and brainwashed and manipulated. It's like they're a completely different person from who they were before. That's what he basically did to Karai. And Karai only later on finds out that, Splinter's my actual dad. So then when Karai ends up siding with the Turtles and Splinter, Shredder, he doubles down. He doesn't give a shit. He keeps saying, "You're my daughter. I kidnapped you 50 years ago, but you're going to love me because I said so, or else I'm going to snap your neck," pretty much. When Karai starts siding with the Turtles and on, Karai tries to go against the Shredder, but the Shredder ends up kidnapping Karai, and he puts her in a holding cell, like a jail cell, where he's a police officer and he just arrested Karai for I don't know, shitting on someone's front doorstep or whatever. It's pretty insane or shit. It's it really just seemed like he was really way too attached for Karai, and he just wanted her to be his daughter so fucking badly. It's bro, let her go. You're being you're making her out to be your minion slave more than your daughter. You actually had her in a cell and he still tried to say, "I love you. Please love me back." When he was a super Shredder, Shredder, he didn't stop there as well. He even he tripled down. There's this thing in Turtles called mutagen, which is basically how Turtles and Splinter and all the mutant creatures came to be. They just get you touch this outer galactic blue Lucasite, and you basically start to transform with the last thing you touch. They're just a random animal. It's pretty confusing how it works. But Shredder found out about this, and he basically looked at it as if it was just a trend or something, super steroids. He wanted it because it'd make him stronger. Even Tiger Claw, who was his top, he's top dog, his top bitch boy, his top his right hand man pretty much. He was telling him, "Yo, bro, do you wanna chill down on the drugs? You might overdose. Can you even handle this much? Calm the fuck down, bro. I think you've had enough." Shredder's nah. Even when his arm was barely falling off, like a deflate, kind of looked like a a shitty out sausage that wasn't made right. Shredder still wanted more, which is he turned into this big ass behemoth of a mutant, and he had to go. I'm not gonna lie, he really did have to go. It's a good thing that Leo managed to slice his head off. One of the craziest things though I think Shredder has done, which is just wow, he really doesn't give a shit. And wow, also he's evil Mordecai. During one of the season finale, the Earth gets destroyed, but then the Turtles, they get saved by this robot that looks like he looks like, I don't know, he looks like he could transform into a dishwasher and just clean your plates and bowls or whatever. I don't know, bro, just looks so white and shiny and polished. That robot ends up saving the Turtles, and they end up going back in time to before Earth was destroyed by the black hole. They end up landing on the Earth, and they're basically trying to stop the Triceratons from building the black hole generator. They nearly did. Splinter was about to go press the button, go press the big button. Playtime's over, go to bed. But Shredder, of course, him having a vendetta against Splinter when they're literally working together as well, which is crazy. Shredder and Splinter working together. They're brothers as well, by the way. He doesn't give a shit who his family is. If you take a woman from him 10 years ago and you're his brother, he will still go after you. He doesn't give a shit. So he kills Splinter and impales him from behind, which ends up, the countdown ends up going to zero, and the black hole ends up being generated. And Shredder even himself said, I don't really give a shit, to be honest. All these humans, they can, like, all these humans, all this Earth can, they can disappear. They can go into the, they can go out of existence for all I care. I killed Hamato Yoshi. I kind of got what I wanted. He's kind of treating the human, he's kind of treating like people as if they're ants or whatever. So yeah, he seemed like pretty insane with like vengeance. Like Tiger God's thinking, bro, what have you done? Are you retarded? Is your head like, you have no brain? Why would you do that? Everyone's gonna die now. But Shredder's like, I don't really give a shit if I'm dead. If Splinter dies and then I die 2 seconds later, at least my lifelong goal has been accomplished. Shredder's purpose was to kill Splinter. Some people, they want to be musicians, they want to be artists, actors. Shredder, he just wants to say, yeah, I killed my brother. Yeah, give me money now. So, yeah, those villains I think are pretty crazy because 2 of them wanted to take over and destroy the Earth, and the other didn't really give a shit if the Earth was gone. He was willing to kill he wanted to kill his brother so badly. He was treating Earth as if it was just like a toy or whatever. Pretty crazy. But anyways, that's me talking about the villains. See you later.